Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Paint Desk Rumblings. I'm joined tonight by the wonderful Wasteland Warrior, back on the show.
Hi guys.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, thanks, man.
Excellent.
Yourself?
Excellent. We have quite a show installed for tonight. We're gonna do a review of the year 2020. And I guess we have to start this off by stating that quite objectively this has been a really horrendous year for a lot of people. That's really sad. A lot of loss and a lot of misery. We can only hope that 2021 will be better, and look forward to that, so that we can put all of this behind us. In this show, though, we will not focus on all of that. We'll instead talk about the year for the Night Age, how it has been for the hobby and for ourselves in the hobby. So I think we'll start off with just going through our own personal years, how they've been still in the introduction here. And I can start if you, unless you want to go, Waste.
No, you give me a start for 10.
Yep. So personally, the year I've been pretty fortunate with COVID and all of that. No one close to me has really been affected, or like in the literal sense, or even lost their jobs or anything. So that's been really lucky. And I mean, the most affected I've suffered is that the tournaments have been cancelled, and I mourn that a lot. But it's not like it compares to what others have been through. So that's fortunate. I've also been spending a lot more time on the hobby, which is rather quite nice. Managed to do quite a lot in the hobby this year. I think my most productive year ever. Partly because more time spent at the brush, partly because I got myself an airbrush this year. So this was going to be the year of the airbrush for me, and it has been. So I painted over 200 models. So really pleased with that. And yeah, that's like a really quick summary of my year. I took a summer vacation as well, where I bicycled across the country, 900 kilometers, which I think is 500 miles, something like that. So I bought a tandem bike with a friend, and we pedaled into the northern parts of Sweden. So
Awesome.
that was fun. So yeah, it's been actually a quite good year for me. How about you?
It's not been too bad for me either. Yeah, same. Nobody that I know has lost their jobs from the COVID. I mean, I know a few people who've had it, but it didn't really affect them too badly. Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously same in UK. No tournaments here, and I don't do universal battles, so pretty much down to only playing with our friend who lives in the next village. But we've had a few games over the last few months, not much. Painting wise, at the beginning of the year, I got off to a real hot streak. As soon as the lockdown started, was furloughed off from work for a while. I just sat at home. Right, okay,
Yeah.
listen, man, Amy, you've been sat in the cupboard for too long, not being painted. I painted like 2 weapon beasts and some pterodons like a long time ago, I think. And all right, it's time to get this done. So over 6 weeks, we painted up a 4,500 Saurian list.
Yeah, that was really awesome. It's
It was kind of like a bit of a delirium. Just every morning, like get up, right, done, paint another 2 Saurus Warriors. But then after that, I experienced some severe burnout. I thought, right, I'm going to plow into my empire as well. I started painting some knights. I got 6 done. It took me a long time, and I was just not feeling it anymore. I painted pretty much nothing at all for the next few months, and I've recently just started getting back into painting a few warriors bits that have been sat half painted on the shelf for some time. Ones that I started with and just left before they were finished. Just clearing up some loose ends at the minute.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Other than that was pretty much it.
Yeah. All right. Glad to hear you're getting back into it. It's been too silent in your blog.
I know. Neglectful.
But it happens. So the important part is that you get back. So I guess speaking of which, what are you working on tonight?
You see these guys?
Yeah, is it Hate?
No, these are from Mias.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They're unfortunately like made out of 7 pieces of metal. Bit of a pain. Each one's got like individual hands that go on the axe handle and stuff. They're a real pain to glue together. Yeah, I'm using them as chosen on foot, and I've got like a few little darts of them already painted up. I'm moving towards that a bit now that the Feldrax and stuff's getting nerfed. Do some chosen on foot. I've played a couple of games with them and it's been pretty nice. So feeling the mojo to get the rest of them finished.
Yeah. Nice. So for myself, I'm working on a little wizard for my empire. I can show it to you here. So this will be my second pyromancer.
That's quality.
Yes, fresh from the airbrush, started building up the flames a little bit more. So the model is from Bushido Games, or the company that makes them is not called that. They are called GCT Studios. But they make a game called Bushido. Her name is Hotaru. So yes, one of the little elemental wizard type of warriors. I think she's gonna make a great pyro monster for my Empire Sonsdal. So dug her out in a drawer to paint her up. Really enjoying painting this flame. I never really painted this much fire on a miniature before, so that's fun. It actually made me wonder, should I get an army with a lot of fire stuff, like maybe Infernal Dwarfs?
See how the next beta patch pans out.
Yeah, as if I need another army, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. As I said, I have painted quite a lot this year. I haven't finished an army. I had that as a goal to finish an army, but didn't do it. But I did paint like enough models from 5 different armies to make one army out of it. So kind of.
Yeah, I saw you picture on the forum earlier. It was an impressive array.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it all, but still no third army to play with, so that's gonna be the next year. And after that, who knows? Maybe I'll start another army, and maybe that will be Infernal Dwarfs, or maybe warriors, or maybe demons. I don't know. Anything's possible. But yeah, that's the hobby spotlight, I guess.
Okay.
So we will be moving on to the news. Starting with, I'm gonna do a little screen share. Let's see. There we are. You can see my screen now.
Just about. I can see this pretty small because it's on my phone, but yeah, I can see the
screen. So what we have here is a Kickstarter from Lost Kingdom Miniatures. They are doing Kingdom of Mercia, so Kingdom of Equity miniatures. It has 5 days to go, so when this goes live, like maybe 4 days to go. Already funded, like really already funded. It has 68,000 euros out of 4,000 gold, so they are well there. They're doing STL files, so no miniatures, just 3D printing stuff. But some really nice looking sculpts. And all of that.
Are they insanely over the top like the Infernal Dwarf ones and the Lizardmen ones?
Yeah, of course. They are just bursting with details. Like
They're the only people who are saying, Games Workshop, you think you've got too many details?
like these knights have like at the end of the bardings there's like little hangings. I don't know what they're called in English, but yeah, they are just full of detail, it seems. But people seem to like them. They have supported it. They have a lot of cool flying stuff as well. Again, really detailed.
They look amazing, but I'd hate to paint them.
Yeah.
Spend the rest of my life to paint all of those details.
There's some truth to that, for sure. I must say that I'm a bit torn about Kickstarters like this. I mean, it was funded in like seconds, I think, or like at least a day, and it's from a fairly big company. Like they have stuff already, so I kind of like wonder why do you need to do a Kickstarter? I don't know.
It's just how it goes nowadays.
Yeah, it is. So, but I'm a bit annoyed by it still. But I guess it's just the way it is. I kind of wish they just took a risk instead of doing it this way. But I mean, these kind of companies, they mostly most of them deliver, so it's just another way of pre-ordering stuff, I guess. The really annoying part is if they don't actually start selling them afterwards, like normal things. So, but I think they will do that. So that's good.
I don't think they will sell them themselves. Somebody else will. I reckon like the two idiots printing or something will take it over.
Yeah, but they will sell the STL files on their site. I think they do that.
Still sell the STL files.
Yeah, I think they've given up on casting altogether.
I don't blame them really.
No, that really does seem to be where the future is. There's it's I guess much easier to compete with other companies if you do it that way, and like much easier for the artists who do the sculpting to get their creations out there. So it seems like a pretty natural progression. A bit sad if you don't have an access to a printer, but those are gonna get cheaper too, so soon everyone will have one in their basement.
Luckily, I've already got enough models to last me a lifetime.
Same here. That, although that doesn't stop me from buying new ones. So, yeah. but I guess
I've been good. I've been good this year. I haven't bought hardly anything.
That's nice. Although I guess if it does come to only STL files being produced, then like I can't buy any more miniatures. So then I guess it's good to have that stash. But whatever. We will move on to. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I did a show, and there's so much stuff that has happened in the Ninth Age just that short while. But we'll start with the Infernal Dwarfs, who finally got their full legendary army book with all the background and all the nice stuff. So, have you had a chance to look through this?
I skimmed over it on the day that it came out. I've skimmed it a couple of times since, and I decided this morning I was going to read through the fluff. I got to actually have a couple of hours piece and read probably about 3/4 of the way through it.
Oh.
Really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just improving. Everyone's going from strength to strength. I mean, the Warriors one was like, okay. For a volunteer process, it's impressive still.
Yeah.
But some of it's like a little bit more off, and the art's not quite as well laid out, but you can see the definite progression. The Demons book looks amazing, and this one another level beyond that. And
I think they've gotten a lot better at writing about stuff that people want to hear about. You get like one of the things I noticed in this book was that they actually gave you the exact number of how many citadels there are in the world. so you can like pinpoint your army so much easier to a specific place in the world. But it's still, that's like my interpretation is that those are I think there were 17 citadels, and those are like the major citadels, and I don't think all of them are named in the fluff. I haven't read through all of it yet myself, but several are named and detailed. And then even if those are the major citadels, you can always have like a smaller that your particular army is from if you want to. So you still have that freedom, but it's still it's something to build on. Really nice.
It has some actual definition. It
Yeah.
feels like it's giving out a lot more facts, much less vague.
Yeah.
Great for me.
Yeah, I think that they're starting to find a good balance there, where the Warriors was too much up in the air, and anything was possible, and you didn't know that much about the actual warriors that existed in the world. You knew about them as a concept, but not of the individuals that much, or the major forces. But now you're starting to find a nice balance with that, I think.
The stories were kind of more fun and dragged me in as well. I just felt like it was more like a David Gemmell kind of reading rather than a little bit more obscure and harder to get your teeth into.
Yeah, I actually liked in this book that they had two main narrators. With Olivia, the slave, and what's his name, the Swandan ambassador. I really quite like that they expanded it to have two ongoing stories in the book.
Yeah, likewise. I like how it explains the unit entries through them. I know it does in the other one, but the story for the unit entry seems less forced, and it seems kind of like it fits with the story, and it just...
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. I only put it down because I had to. Otherwise, I'd have just sat and read through the rest of it. That'll be tomorrow, I think. But yeah, I mean, mad props to them for it because it looks amazing. It looks professional. Yeah. Professional quality stuff, professional quality writing. The art in it, there's not any pieces that I looked at and thought they looked out of place. All of it was top quality.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to see the next one. How good are they going to be by the end?
Indeed. The only thing that's worrying is that they seem to take like a lot of more time than writing the rules. So I hope one won't slow down the other. But at the same time, the fluff is so necessary in a way. I mean, it's been weird to have the Infernal Dwarf book, I think, all the rules without having the fluff. So I kind of wish that they got back into releasing it at the same time. But who knows?
I don't know. I don't know if anything that I hear ever is true, because human nature. But people have told me that most of it was ready for a long time. Like tiny little bits and stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe, like future-wise, you could just prioritize just.
Yeah.
If it's just missing a picture, just get a little bit of filler in there and then put it out. Put it out with the thing if you want to do it early, and then later on you can add that extra bit in if you wanted to, rather than giving just the dry sheets of crunch for
maybe
6 months and then putting a bit of fluff in. I don't know. But
yeah.
I'm happy enough with it how it is. Getting anything's nice. New books.
Yeah, good stuff. Indeed. Did you have any particular art piece that you liked?
Yeah, I like the one with the vizier, where he's looking completely maniacal with the axe above his head. There's like a high elf.
Yeah, and the tusks. Yeah, that one was nice.
Yes, the high elf crawling
yeah.
to get away is a good one.
He seems so happy to about to chop that highborn's head off. It's like he's really looking forward to that.
Yeah, the giant was really cool as well. The one with like the completely flat, like square, the flat rectangular shield. It just seemed like a completely different proportion, like aesthetic.
Yeah, it seemed very like thin, like gamely.
Yeah.
I quite like that look. Cool. It's yeah, it's nice. I was really impressed with the vassal artwork. with the where there are some humans like Arab style fighting against some Infernal Dwarfs. I liked it. It was quite like as an art piece, it was quite dynamic and very nice looking, of course. But also liked that it really like told a story about how the Infernal Dwarves are not just these guys in the blasted plains enslaving hobgoblins. They are out enslaving other people as well. So it speaks to that, which I think is good.
What did you think to the almost CGI looking hobgoblins?
Not sure if I noticed those.
There's one of them like really 3D, and it almost looks like it could be from like a Pixar film still or something.
All right.
I mean, technically it looks really amazing, but it's slightly jarring compared to all the other.
I noticed that there was one piece of art that they reused of goblins that they have used before. Was it like a bunch of goblins with like spears?
Like put together and have got like big heads.
Yeah. Okay, I think I know. I didn't think of it as like it looking CGI, but yeah, I think you do have a point. But yeah, I think that's an older artwork, and I've always liked it. So, but maybe it is a bit out of place, perhaps. But that's something that they, if they want to be picky about stuff like that, it's gonna delay it even more.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
not a complaint at all.
yeah, it's fully understandable. But yeah, it's actually quite nice to see the amount of diversity they can fit with like different artists and styles. So.
I like the banners as well. I like that the banners is becoming a recurring theme in all.
Yeah, exactly. Like
actually put the kind of canon sigils.
Yeah.
On your models. It's all very well and good being able to do your own and make your own interpretation, but
yeah,
not everybody's got a fantastic imagination, and you just want to paint.
And if you want your army to really be part of the world, that's an easy way to do it. And again, something that he didn't really capture with the warriors. They did have that same section with a lot of banners and stuff like that, but they felt like these are like some random warbands that nobody cares about. Here we have some of the major citadels that in the world and their banners and all of that.
Yeah, it didn't go anywhere past these are a guy like a legendary troop of Lust Warriors once used this banner or whatever.
Yeah,
you don't know where they're from, and I mean, I suppose the entire thing was that they're everywhere and within the society, I guess, with the warriors, but
yeah.
Yeah, they didn't feel like an army with a home, but I suppose they never really were they? So
yeah, but still, I think they could have done a better job to like establish some of the major players in the setting right now. Maybe those warbands are, but they didn't really give that impression. So
no.
Yeah. So overall, I think we are quite happy with this book. I'm looking forward to finish reading it, and looking forward to the Dread Elves, which, I mean, is something I never thought I would say. Looking forward to an elf book. That's weird. But we shall move on because we have a lot of stuff to cover. So the ninth scroll, issue 24, which I did the cover for. Or I edited the cover for it.
Nice.
I added some Santa stuff to it, which was fun. But
I managed
to
sneak a picture of my warriors in there.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't notice yours, I'm afraid, but I did see that there was a lot of pictures from the forums and stuff like that. So that's that's nice to see it. More miniatures in the document is nice, definitely. So that was good. There was also a nice article about Piteglio, an interview with him and what all that he's been doing for the project with the Whale of the Ages and the Essence of War. Yeah. Have you been getting into that, any?
I haven't played any of the Essence of War. I put together a warband because he asked me for a picture of some stuff, so I put together a warband and took some
Yeah.
photos of it. I don't know. I keep an eye on it. I read the pages about it because it is interesting to me. But once you're already kind of as deep into the full game as I am, it's hard to pull yourself back. I really want to be playing 6,000 points rather than 500 points or whatever. It's interesting to see where it goes, and it seems to be getting a bit more traction than the quick play was. So
yeah, they're doing a great job with that. I think the real value in it is that it is a much quicker game. So if you don't have time for a full game, this can be an option, and I can see myself getting into using it for that purpose. So once again, when we're back to like more regular gaming, at the moment, whenever I get a chance to play, I want to play the real game, and I take the time to play the real game because it's so rare. But or the real game, that's unfair. Fantasy Battles, the big game, because yeah. But I have tried it and I quite liked it. There was also a battle report in this issue of the Night Scroll with the Quickstarter.
okay.
Played by Mick TikTok on the forums, who's a really fun character. So quite a nice read.
Yeah, I know that guy a little bit.
Yeah.
I played him once in real life. He's a gent.
Oh, yeah, he's from the Madgit Radio, right?
Yeah, one of the Scottish lads. Yeah.
So, but it looked like a fun game. They had ogres versus warriors, actually. So, moving on to the Craven Lands.
Ah, yes.
So this is a new global campaign, following a bit in the footsteps of the Battle for Avras campaign, like 2 summers ago, was it?
Yeah, it was just last year, I think. Yeah, it wasn't this summer. Yeah, the year before.
Yeah. So just like last time, it came at a time when I was not able to really get engaged in it. So I saw it pop up and noticed it and thought this would be it would be nice to look into, like, after all of the holidays are over with and all of that. So and I noticed that they had a challenge to paint up an Empire Wizard, so that's why I'm working on my little lady here. But I also, like, earlier today, looked through it and it seems like that task is already gone and completed. So I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I jumped on it immediately and painted a wizard like the next day, I think. But...
Yeah, you're one of the few who made it.
Yeah, it's kickstarted me back into it. It's good. I really like it. I got loads of painting done last year when we did the Avras campaign. I got absolutely tons done. It just spurs you on when everybody else is putting their pictures up, like, hey man, I've painted my wizard, have you got around to yours yet? Like, all right, I'll stop being lazy, let's get it done.
Yeah, saw you having some jabs with Ice and Hans on the forums.
Yeah.
So I mean that's really is the most wonderful part about these campaigns, to motivate each other like that. So I'm looking forward to try and get into it, but like I paint a lot, but I paint carefully, and I can struggle to adjust my paint schedule. So we'll see how much I manage in the time frame that's allowed. But yeah, I as I said, I really don't know what's happening with it. So
no, I don't think anybody does, other than the people behind it. I know it's pretty vague. Have you got any of the fluff pieces that are put up yet? Or
I skimmed through the one with the wizard at least, but I haven't seen anything since then.
They put up at least three pieces already, and it's getting pretty tasty actually. It looks like it's had quite a bit of planning involved. So
yeah.
hopefully it's going to go somewhere. The other one was kind of fun, but we were just left drifting around mostly on our own. Do battle reports, do painting, do whatever, and
Yeah, and that was fun in its way, but it's hoping they can do something more with this one for sure. I must say I really liked the name of it, the Craven Lands. I don't know, it just speaks to me. Maybe I'm
It's got
craven.
something about it.
And I saw that they put up a map of it as well. Mercenary armies.
And where it actually fits in and everything.
Yeah. So that's cool to see. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes and trying to get engaged. Yeah, that's good to see. And hopefully I'll be able to understand what is going on soon enough.
It might never happen, you never know.
Yeah.
The last one was completely vague and bizarre from beginning to end, but it was still a trip, so it was good.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, moving on. To the balance update that was released just recently. Much awaited, much anticipated. What did you think?
I don't really like it very much. It didn't make hardly any difference. Sorry, my phone was nearly dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it made much difference. Other than it just kind of like made everybody have to tweak around their list a bit.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm not mad about any of it because it's just toy soldiers, whatever. But the only thing I'm a bit disappointed about is the Feldrak Elder Witch Hunt nerf. It's been coming all year because everybody's been crying about the V2 in all the lists.
Yeah. What happened to it?
Nerfed,
How much?
It just got the biggest point. It was like 50 points.
Ooh, yeah, that's tasty.
Biggest point increase in anything in the whole game, and is it the cheesiest thing in the whole game? The most undercosted thing in the game? I mean,
I haven't played against one ever, I think, because like before the last update, no one used them, I think, and then I think he reached a threshold where people started trying him, and then he turned out to be good, and then everybody started using him, and now they nerfed him a bit. So I don't know if it's too much, but yeah.
I didn't want one with 450 points. I don't want one at 500.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was nice that the foot chosen came down, the chosen knights came down, warrior knights came down. That was cool. So I'll be doing a bit more warrior based lists, which I kind of wanted anyway. I do love Feldrax and I think they're cool, but the army was for me. All my lists were becoming the wretched ones, forsaken ones, Feldrax, and a wizard.
Yeah.
And there was no warrior stuff to be seen in the Warriors of the Dark Gods.
Yeah.
So hopefully I'll push a bit. I've had a couple of games with a more warrior-based list over the last 2 months. It's been pretty fun. So as far as the Warriors goes, a little bit annoyed about the Feldrak Witch Hunt, but everything else is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen from the few other armies, I mean, it's again no major shakes really.
Yeah, but I think that's like the theme of the whole thing. Like some of the most powerful pieces get nerfed in like the more powerful armies quite a lot, but then a lot of stuff get point reduction, mostly like infantry and core, and yeah, a lot of that. So like a major thing here is the command group that all got reduced from 20 to 10 points, all except of course your your chosen.
Poor chosen champions. Get 10 points taken off.
Yeah.
The response we got when we complained about that as soon as it came out was be thankful we didn't put them up. I'm like, all right, I'll deal.
Can always be worse. Yeah.
It's not good. We're gonna nerf it further.
Yeah. As an Ox and Goblin player, I looked at that and was really happy because I often take a lot of command on my units, so now I get a lot more points to spend. And I think it also, one thing that this makes me want to do is like run more musicians on my fast cav, which is something that I want to have points for, because I like the thought of harassing people with the march reduction. But it's 20 points was just way too steep. But attain points, yeah, I think I might try it out.
I don't think I'll bother. They have time to create a match block check. They're under the bus before then.
Depends on on the fast cab. I painted up my writers recently, and I have one musician for 10 of them, and I think he will see play.
Okay.
I at least won't feel like an idiot for playing him. And the same thing goes for the champion, who also got cheaper, which is nice. And in the Vampire Covenant, I really want to mention the Cadaver Wagon. It was dropped by like 50 points, so the opposite of the Felrak Elder, and maybe useful now. Maybe, I don't know.
At no price point will it ever be used.
And yeah, that's just not true. Eventually, it will be useful at some level. I think, like, I play a lot of infantry armies with Vampire Covenant, and those are of course the ones that will benefit the most from it. Like the hardcore ETC lists with like Shrieking Horrors and Dark Coaches and all of that craziness won't really care, because they don't have a solid line that benefits from the fortitude. But a list with a lot of core and a lot of other infantry, I think it's good. So I want to try that for sure.
It doesn't work on Barrow Guard though, does it?
It gives them a 6-up, which is...
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It gives everything a 6-up, and then core units get the 5-up in the first round of combat.
Okay. So. I was spitballing a few lists with my friend. He plays VC and Ogres mostly.
Yeah.
But we're discussing the VC points, and we're thinking about foot builds and stuff, because it just been playing like Brotherhood of the Dragon, running around with Vampire Knights, basically playing Warriors of the Dark Gods with vampire models. But yeah, we're talking about like Lamia on foot, trying to build some kind of grave guard with shields, and the new Witchcraft, and the new Witchcraft number 6.
Yeah.
Is pretty helpful for your blocks as well, so you can go more sword and board to get the res, and the Legion banner going down obviously as well. Go for some trickery with that. But yeah, if you're playing the ghouls or the Lamia kind of bus style, then the Cadaver Wagon could start looking a bit more interesting.
Yeah, and I think the ghouls got cheaper too, or something. Yeah, I can't remember.
I mean, they should have got cheaper.
I am always like really impressed with how they perform, so I was a bit surprised by that if they were. And I can't remember, but yeah, I use ghouls quite a lot.
Ghouls are really good when you get the a wound through the turn before they end up fighting, so they reroll to start with.
Yeah.
For the point.
So that should do it for the news. Do you have anything you want to add?
News-wise, balance, dwarves, Dread Elves, I guess. I mean, have you looked at the Dread Elves?
Yeah, I think that was we talked about that last episode.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. They, yeah. So moving on to the main segment. So, I've looked through the news that have come this year from the Ninth Age. I made a little list of the coolest stuff, and I just think we'll go through it and talk about it. So, first off, there's been a lot of new scrolls. I think 6, maybe as 5, but I think 6 actually. There was a delayed. Usually is one in November. This one came out in December instead, but I still think they managed 6 in a year. So quite a lot. Do you have any favorite moments from the scrolls?
I have to be honest to say that I don't actually read it that much. I usually end up downloading it and like flick through it. It just, I don't know. I don't know what it is about it, but it hasn't captivated me massively. I wish it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm a bit of a dud on this one.
Oh no, it's fine. Personally, I really liked what they did in quite an early issue. They announced that a thread on the forum where they asked for community input on designing new units for armies based on existing models.
Oh right, yeah, no, I think I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So people made a lot of suggestions, and in the next issue, Henry compiled some of the ones he thought were coolest, and put them into the scroll so that people could use them in the games if they wanted to. I was really happy to see one of my suggestions made it, which was a Lion Rider unit for Hybern Elves, using the Mantic Basilian Cavalry girls.
Yep.
So like a medium cavalry for the Hybern Elves. I'm not
With
sure if yeah,
the 2 strength 5 attacks from the mount as well.
yeah. Their thing was like they were really shock troops, so really fast. They had vanguard and a long charge range, but not that much march. And then like the rider was whatever, but the lion came in with her 2 strength 5 attacks or whatever. So they were like medium cavalry shock troops. Not sure if the highborns need it, but it was a bit, at least something a bit different for them, and some neat models too. So, and I really quite like that type of content when they try to reach out to the community and like interact with it. So hope to see more of that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I like the interaction.
Yeah.
The interaction's why I bother to go to the forum. I get drawn into talking about the Crunchyroll stuff, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really bring anyone any joy, does it? Getting in with the interaction, doing the campaigns and the painting leagues and anything where people are actually all in it to have a good spirited time. That's
Yeah,
what it's about.
for sure. The scroll for me also is like a great source of background. I think almost every issue this year had some background, both like the interviews with Sigmund Selig, and also some extracts from the coming background compendium. One particular thing with the background that really struck me was the Dwarvenholds background that they released. I like much like elves, dwarves is not really a faction that has ever interested me. But I quite like what they've done with the background of the dwarves. In that,
I've read it.
yeah, it's I can't remember which issue it was, but I really liked that the dwarves themselves, the species is like really old, and they have a long tradition, like their civilization stretches back to like millennia, much older than most of the human nations. So. But the Dwarvenholds itself is like really new. It was founded at the start of the Ninth Age, and the thing with them is that during all these chaotic ages, they got separated and isolated. And then at the start of the Ninth Age, they started emerging and had like a great moot, like an end moot, and made up decided on some rules and some collaborations and stuff like that, and they are formed this alliance of the Dwarvenholds. So that's
All right.
where the faction comes from. So before that,
That sounds like kind of some factual omniscient stuff going on.
yeah. So yeah, I like that. It's it was good to get an like an actual explanation for the name of the faction. They are not just the dwarves; they are actually the holds. That's it's an important alliance that they have, so to speak. So I like that, and there's been a lot of other background pieces in the scroll as well. So that's always nice to see. But we will plow through. I just need to find a paint. But in January, we saw that the rule books became available for order on Amazon. So like the printed versions of the Slim book, Slim rule book. Did you get any of this?
I did, yeah. I bought them when they came out. I've got another. I got a better one since. Like a really, I like separators and stuff. I got it from a tournament that I went to. They gave us all like a ring bound one with the separators in between all things. Because the print from Amazon one's great, but when you don't know what the pages are for all the things, you know, flicking through. Go back on the iPad and press the hyperlink in the thing, but
yeah,
with the dividers in.
Yeah.
Sequence.
I have a friend who bought one and was really happy to go back to books because then he could finally like use it to find rules the way he was used to. Personally, I don't think I could go back. I haven't ordered anything like this, and I don't feel like it because I'm too much in love with Control F. I can't do that in a book. But I did saw a lot of people use them.
I'm a dinosaur. Books are good for me.
I did see them at tournaments, and yeah, people were enjoying it. So really good to see. I checked, and you can still order them. I think they are still up there, which is nice. I wonder if they will do something for the legendary army books, because that I could really see myself actually getting. To read it, flick through the fluff and all that in a more comfortable setting.
I'm torn on that one. I'd really love to have a printed hardback Legendary Army book, but while the points are always going to be fluid, it just doesn't make me want to do it.
Yeah.
I want to get it out when I was writing my army list. And the points wrong. I best get out my sheets of paper that have got the right ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you thing, but it's nice to have like a nice thing that's complete and it's gonna.
Yeah, I can see that, and I guess if you only get it for the fluff, then you have less excuse to pull it out and less excuse to like accidentally flick through and read some of the fluff and remind yourself of it. So
yeah, read it once and then put it away, won't you?
Yeah. But still, it would look nice in my bookshelf. So maybe I'll look into that. At least if I ever start playing like some of the armies that they are doing books for, or when the Vermisworm one drops, then yeah, maybe. We'll see. So that was cool to see. We shall move on to February, which, as I just said, is when the not Infernal Dwarf, the Vermisworm was announced to be the book after the Dread Elves. So this made me excited.
I wasn't particularly excited to start with, but once I started reading through the guidelines and stuff that we're coming up with, it seems like it's going to be a huge departure, which for me is fantastic. I don't know. I don't really like the Vermisworm, how they are. I understand why they are how they are and how it couldn't have been changed so drastically over the time. But yeah, now looking at the things they're going to be doing with them, I've got no idea how it's gonna pan out. Looking at some of the stuff, like the huge units making everything cheaper and worse, and
yeah,
it's like padding. Can you make a useful army out of just blobs of terrible stuff?
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see.
Saw the Mechanical Stage 7 where they introduced the replacement weapon teams, Oh right, yeah. This is how they managed to pull the power back. Have you
Yeah,
looked at that?
and I
The
didn't.
toxic launcher, like 16 catapult hits or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually haven't looked that much into it, even though it's like an army I started collecting. I understand that they are like a lot more Roman inspired, which I really like because I think that's a cool look. Um, but rules wise, I haven't really gotten into it. I look forward to it very much. Um, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's down in the distant future. Everything's very subject to change that I've read so far, so I'm not reading too much
Yeah,
into it.
but I mean, I think they're moving at a pretty good pace. Like, I don't think that it will be that long before we start seeing uh, an alpha of it. So
Really? Okay.
yeah, no, I mean, they seem to really be getting on with their agile approach to game design, where they have always have several books in the loop. So like they started working on this in February. They announced it, and so I mean they worked almost for a year now on it. Um, so I think there's some hope of it coming out pretty soon.
Nice. Better get on the playtesting team.
um, so very much looking forward to that. In March, we saw that the Demon Legions turned gold. Um, is it an army that you play or play against a lot?
I used to play against it quite regularly, but my friend who had the demons moved back to Spain, so I don't see them so often. I've recently started kind of sorting an army out for myself. I've written a couple of lists. I've got some old demon models from back in the days where warriors and the demons could fight together, but only like little bits and bobs of the old Games Workshop stuff.
Yeah,
I've taken them out and put them on the side with a little bit of a thought to maybe getting some new bits to go towards them. I got a couple of bits to paint up for them in the Secret Santa that we did this year. Yeah,
yeah.
so at some point this year, I think the Demon Legions will be a thing that I get involved in. I've been reading. Is it Shizu on the forum? He does like a defensive shooting avoidance kind of demons battle reports, and
I
I don't know, just kind of interesting to me after playing Warriors so much. Where and trying to
shooting.
destroy them, like
What is that?
dancing around, shooting two dice in spells, like 2 dice in 5 spells rather than 4 dice in 2 spells, whatever, just a
Yeah,
completely different approach. Um,
yeah,
so yeah, we'll see where that goes. See where my enthusiasm goes. But yeah, demons is definitely something that interests me.
yeah. Same here. I think I'm more interested in the cultists, but the demons themselves, they are. It's a cool army. Um, there are, and there's so many cool models for it. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
endless.
Well, you
uh,
can do anything really, can't you?
yeah. So I'm um, cool to see that they made it gold. So
2 down,
yep,
14 to go.
for sure. Um, we will move on to the other bit of news in March, which is the Games of Sagan. Which I'm sorry to say I haven't tried out. I have read through it and I'm quite excited about it, but I haven't had a chance to play it. I haven't taken the time to play it. Um, so do you remember this being released? Have you seen it?
Only the name, only the name bells. I haven't read it.
Yeah.
It's another one of these things. I think's nice, and like, yeah, maybe I should get into some of this supplemental stuff. But as you've alluded to, you only get so much time to actually play, and
Yeah.
when you get the opportunity to do it, you're like, do you want to try out this gladiator thing, or do you want to
Yeah.
just write an army and play a full game? Like, yeah,
I think. I mean, I think this suffered from being released at the worst possible time, because I think the
yeah,
main intent of this game is for something to play at tournaments on like the Friday night when everybody gets there and are excited for the tournament to come. and there are often a lot of like small games being played at that time, and this is perfect for it.
Because I'm so sad, I just play 3 extra battles on the Friday night too. Make sure I line 3 people up together and have 3 games on Friday, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday.
Yeah.
I get enough.
But I mean, it's a collection of nice little mini games, the Orc Olympics, and I mean, reading through them, a lot of them seem really fun. They seem to have captured like an orky spirit in them. So as an orc player, that of course appeals to me. But I hardly think anyone has tried them out yet, the rules, which is a shame. But I'm looking a bit to building a table for it. It's meant to be played on a chessboard, which is neat. I don't have one though, so I could just as well like make a thematic table for it, a thematic board. So I think I'm gonna do that at some point.
I'll keep an eye out for that because I'm sure that'll look ace when you.
And hopefully that will get people at my tournament interested in trying it out when I get back to hosting. That's my sneaky idea at least.
Yeah, come and look at this. It looks really sexy. What do you do with it? All right, yeah, got you in there.
Yeah,
the hook.
Indeed. And one thing about it, it also had quite a lot of nice fluff for the orcs. Really looking into the broods and all of that, their background with the constant fighting and challenging of each other and all of that. So if anybody listening is at all into orcs, give that a read. It's really nice in that aspect.
The fluff's out there if you can hunt for it.
Yeah, exactly. Just have to know where to find it. I need a more yellow skin tone, I realize. Sunny skin tone should be good. Alright, moving on to April, which saw the best April Fool's joke of all time. Which by I mean, of course, turning everybody's avatar upside down. And then me being clever and turning my avatar in the default setting upside down, so it was right side up, and everybody else was upside down. I thought myself really clever, and then the powers that be punished me by making that permanent, so I wasn't allowed to change my avatar. So afterwards, I was upside down instead for like the whole year. But I deserved it, so that's fine. But no, I'm of course talking about the real. They did 2 jokes this year. So the really cool stuff was, of course, they added giants to every army book, and everybody was really excited. And then they looked at the date and realized, no, this is not gonna stick around, and everybody got sad about it. And then the day after, they made a supplement with all of the giants. So you can still use them. Which
just for you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so excited about that. I haven't actually tried it yet. Mostly because I mean I have an half-sized Empire army, but not big enough to actually play games with. Or like I could play small size games, but who does that? So I haven't tried it in them. The Orcs and Goblins, they already have a giant, and I'm not too excited about the special upgrade it got in the supplement. It got a body slam attack, which doesn't seem to be that exciting really. Might try it out someday. But I do have plans to paint up a undead giant, a ghoul giant.
I've played against the Barrow Giant a couple of times.
All right. To me, that one seems like the least interesting of the undead giants. But to each his own, I guess. How did you find that?
Easy to kill because it was a giant. I don't know.
Easy points.
I don't rate giants very much. I like the idea of the supplement, but I like the idea of giants too. Just whenever I take them, you put them on the table, take them off the table. Like a handful of crossbowmen standing around on a fireball and
yeah, been there. I've been there. Recently, though, I played with the Oxygoblin Giant with a net, and that has been amazing. So I really want to try out some of the variants in this supplement. Again, though, like releasing stuff this year only semi-interesting because no tournaments. But I guess this one might have seen some use at UB events and stuff like that. So there's that at least, unlike Games of Sagan. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to trying out my giants. I have 2 more planned for the Empire as well.
I might do a warrior giant at some point because they didn't give us one in the book originally.
No.
All the armies with the giant didn't get one.
Yeah.
But then they brought one in, and afterwards they're like, "Oh, yeah, nice one." It's actually a warrior giant rather than a barbarian giant.
That update was really nice, I think, to make sure that everybody got something from it. And the chosen, the favorite giant looks really cool. If I ever do start collecting a warrior army, I will definitely include a favorite giant.
Yeah, I don't know whether it'd be any good or not, but it'll look ace just having a gigantic Sauron just walking along with you, with your lad.
Yeah, that too. So excited to see that. In May, we also had some big news. The Infernal Dwarfs got their first beta available to the public. And we also got the Epic of Kibotesh in the same release. So starting with the rules, what did you think about the Infernal Dwarfs when they came out?
Against them, but there aren't any tournaments. Joking, I don't know really. I don't know. You can look at it and math hammer it and stuff, but until you've been on the table and done it, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
Two trains kind of seems like one of the only things that I found might be a little bit oppressive, maybe, because having 2 unbreakable, toughness 7, resilience 7, kind of jobbers.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that much of a problem for me personally, but some armies would find it really difficult to deal with that kind of stuff, and creates a bit of an RPS with all the flaming and like extra damage. But I suppose they did all that stuff before anyway, so the RPS from the flaming and light shooting against elves and stuff that a lot of people was having a bit of a cry about. I was kind of already there to a certain extent anyway. I still want to play against them. I still haven't managed to get a game against them. Nobody I know owns them, and I don't do the UB, so
yeah, I'm in the same boat. The rules didn't get me that excited to to try them out. The fluff is doing that now when it's out. But yeah, to me, the coolest thing about the book, I think, was the war machines.
Okay. With the little extra choices they get.
Yeah, with all the customization and the variants and all of that. That got me really excited. So if I were to play them, I think I would have a lot of war machines and stuff like that.
If you were to play them, you'd paint each machine with like, this one's my Ether Cloud machine with an Ether Cloud.
Yeah.
I know you.
I would make sure every variant is visible. That's for sure. Yeah, and I mean that would be the really fun part of converting and building them to make sure that everything is visible. So, but that's just me.
Why paint 2 machines when you can paint 12?
I would probably do some magnet stuff so I could like switch
Yeah,
out the ones I wanted.
fair.
So, but you never know. Um, but yeah, it was cool to see that. What did you think about the Epic of Kipotesh?
I don't think I read it. I might have read it and forgot because
If you
my memories of stories are pretty bad.
if you haven't read it, then you really should go read it. I thought it was like amazing. Maybe the best fluff piece I read for the Ninth Age.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it was they managed to make it really humorous. I laughed a lot when reading it too, and I think one of the things that I liked about Infernal Dwarfs and them getting the fluff book now, the full one, is that for the first time we had a fair amount of fluff beforehand. Like the Warriors book when it was released, that was when we found out at all about the seven dark gods and all of that. And the demons, quite similar. We knew very little about them when the book was released. But Infernal Dwarfs, they have had the moment in the sun in the scroll, so we've had a bit of background there, and we have had the Epic of Kipotesh beforehand. So reading through the book, at least I knew some things already about the background, and that made it connect even more, I think. So that was neat.
I'll definitely give it a read. Well, I'm going to finish the Infernal Dwarf book tomorrow, and then should that continue impressing me, I'll probably read that one straight afterwards.
When I started reading it, I was a bit skeptical. It's written like it's an epic, so like it's written in sort of verse. But it's still fairly easy to read, and yeah, it was great. I think they really did a home run with that one. And I think the lawyers of the Night Age team had a good time with it. It's a lot of lawyery humor, which is weird.
I don't really get it. I don't.
Yeah, trust me, it's a good read. So yeah, we will move on to Advanced Magics, which was a supplement that was released for the Ninth Age also in May. Have you tried this at all?
No, I read it and it's a massive dud. I was really hoping it'd give me like some ridiculously OP stuff, you know, like go back to magic being ridiculous. You want to play with your normal balanced magic? Here it is.
Yeah.
Here's the new one. It seemed like there was a lot of bookkeeping and effects that you had to think about, which translated to very little gain.
Yeah, I've tried it in a grand total of one game. I want to try it again.
Yeah.
And what I found was exactly as you said, it was a lot of bookkeeping for very little gain. The good thing about it was the added spells. They were fun. It did mix up having some access to some new spells, and that was interesting. I used Evocation, and there's an amazingly funny spell there, which allows you to select 2 units within 18 inches of your wizard, and then those two units switches places.
Okay.
And I mean that's oh, it's so much fun, and it's easy to get a multiple to get duplicates of that spell as well. So I had 2 of those in my army, with playing Vampire Covenant. And I switched place with my my Beauregard and the skeletons to get a better fight for the Beauregard. And like I ran away with my necro bunker when it was threatened. Just switched place with a pair of bats, and all of a sudden they were way out of the way and perfectly safe. And I never got the chance, but I wanted to switch place, fly up with some bats, place them next to a unit, and then switch places with the Shrieking Horror and get a scream. So I mean the potentials were limitless really with that spell. A lot of fun. But as you say, it's a lot of bookkeeping for nothing, because you keep track of how many spells you cast in each half of the table. And then the more spells you cast, the harder it gets to cast these specific extra spells. So like I had 1 of these spells, my opponent had 1, so those were the only 2 spells that were affected. I think based on a single game, again, I need to play more to judge it better. But I think they should switch it up to make it so that all the spells casting is affected by this change, and it affected in a big way as well, to make it interesting. Because the worst part about it is this: it's a lot of bookkeeping, and there's no reason to care about it really.
It seemed just kind of too safe for me.
Yeah, and this is not,
having not played it. My critique's not too valid, but it just looked on paper to be like it needed to be a bit more like zanier and like effective rather than
I mean
it'll happen, won't, and
this is
then the outcome is not really that great.
Yeah, this is not the place to be safe. This is where it's a supplement, and people will likely never use it in a tournament, even no matter how balanced you make it. This is the place to be fun, and it did that with the spells. The spells are fun. Some of them at least. I think I almost used a Oath and Goblin army with the witchcraft spells. And one of those is definitely not fun. You cast it at an enemy wizard within 24 inches, I think. And then that wizard has to roll a die for every spell it has. On a 1, it forgets it.
Nice.
I mean, it's a great spell, but it's so boring because all you're doing is like forbidding your opponent from having any fun at all.
That's true.
So
no one knows much fun as swapping places with your chaff and your Death Star. You think I'm chaff?
A fun, just because you said that in the same sentence, a fun thing would be to switch spells. If you cast a spell on your opponent, you can take one of their spells and gain and give them one of yours.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Take a particularly bad one, so you can take their good one, palm them off with something terrible.
It's a shame now that they changed the number 6 spell in witchcraft, because now there is no one that's obviously super bad in witchcraft. Whatever.
Yeah, the new number 6 witchcraft is just the Dread Elf, the old Dread Elf tree, right?
Yeah. But that's a decent spell. I wouldn't want to give that to my enemy. The old one they could have. That was fine. No, but seriously, yeah, it's a good concept with the magic, advanced magic set, I think, but it needs some refinement. And who knows? Maybe they'll get it to where it needs to be. I plan to write some extensive feedback for them once I played at least one more game.
Okay.
Hopefully more. I mean, I would write something now to like let them know that someone is actually using it, because I don't think many people are. But it feels wrong to write it on the back of just a single game, even though I feel fairly confident about this feedback.
It's a
So
shame. It's a shame though that someone spent all the time doing it.
yeah,
And no one's going to play because it's
yeah,
too conservative.
for sure. That's I think that's sadly the fate of a lot of these smaller supplements that they do, like Games of Sagan and this one. But hopefully we can give it some attention and make people use it, and make them be more brave, I think is necessary. So moving on, and there was a bit of a hiatus during the summer, as is understandable. But then in July, we had a celebration of the 5th year of the Ninth Age. Can you believe it's been 5 years?
Yes, I would say. I feel 10 years older.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite amazing, but it's been 5 years, and it's been 5 good years, I think. And
Yeah, I think I've been along for nearly all the ride. Maybe
yeah,
4.5 years.
yeah. So here's for hoping for 5 more, and more of that as well, I guess. There was also an update to the Giants. As we mentioned, they got their more options for all of the Giants, which was good. Moving on to September, when the next Legendary Army book was announced. Do you remember which one?
Dreadnoughts?
No,
No?
that's
KOE.
yeah, KOE.
That's already done, isn't it? KOE.
The Kingdom of Equitane. Excited?
I don't really. I've never really been into the whole KOE thing. But I'm excited for them.
Yeah.
They've kind of been a boring 5-entry army for ever.
Yeah.
Do you want guys on horse, guys on horse, guys on horse, guys on horse, or some plebs?
Yeah. I really feel you there. It's been a long time coming, this one. So really happy for them. I also have like a tiny little Kingdom of Equitane army. Though just today I put them away in a cupboard. I had to make space in my nice display cabinet. Painted up too many rats and Empire and Undying Dynasties. So they had to move down. But at some point I hope to get back to them, and a new book will definitely help motivate that. So I'm excited for them, and I'm a bit excited for myself, because one day I might pick them up again.
How it's gonna go though? What are they
Yeah,
gonna do?
I mean, people said it when it was released. Like, this is probably the most difficult army they are ever going to make, because it's I don't think there's any community that's so this is gonna sound mean, but like pedantic about stuff, and there's like some people who are so adamant to not add anything special, anything weird. It should just be knights in armor and horses, and some peasants.
But yeah, no, I mean, how are they going to make it like
Yeah.
kind of new and innovative without just shoehorning here's loads of extra
I mean,
stuff?
you could add like some more fantasy beasts, like unicorns. They have that a little bit. You can go in that direction to add like more beasts, or maybe some more ethereal stuff or supernal stuff like the Green Knight. But I have no idea. It can go either way, and it can be really cool. But some people are definitely going to hate it. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
But I hope they do something cool with it. Personally, I wouldn't mind some more fantasy stuff in it. I and I to be frank, I don't really see the argument of not wanting that stuff to be added, because if you don't like it, then don't use it. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
But I guess if that
There might be like the crutch units of the book that you have.
yeah,
to
I mean that's the what people are afraid of, I guess. And I suppose that
nights, well, you're gonna lose every game. Or...
yeah. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. I look forward to it.
Really interesting seeing the tandem for me. How the interplay between Vermin Swarm and Equitane ends up after they've done both of them books, because it's a complete train minute, isn't it?
They are
the biggest train in all of knowledge.
Yeah.
Is there a worse matchup for anybody than rats running the Equitane running into the rats?
Maybe not. I can't think of any. I mean, they really have a hard time against them.
If they can solve that, then they've got me completely sold. If they can solve the situation.
Yeah. The Equitane is also interesting, I think, because it's the first time they are doing a quote unquote good faction. Like all of the others have been traditionally evil. Night Age do make sure that there's no such thing as like pure evil. Everything has a reason, a motivation. That's at least somewhat understandable. But the Equitane guys have long been like one of the really, really good guys in any setting, like paladins and stuff. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that. And also, it's also one of the factions that already is quite well explored, because of the way that they write background. Since you always have a narrator, and the narrators are often human, a lot of the narrators are from Equitane, and then you also get some insight into them. So this is really going to be a case where you already know a fair bit amount of the background when the big book is released. So that's going to be interesting to see where they go, and also interesting to see what's gonna what is the narrator gonna be this time, because I bet you it's not gonna be an Equitane guy. They will want to use someone from outside the faction.
From the perspective of Vale.
Yeah. So I wonder who they will use. But anyway, we will move on to October and Essence of War, which we already touched upon a little bit. I'll just say that I look forward to seeing where it goes. I tried 2 games of it, and it was fun. It's a much shorter game, but it still feels quite tactical, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
As soon as I can get somebody to give it a go, I'll play it, because I'm playing anything but the guys that I'd play on the regular. It'll take a little bit of arm twisting, to be honest. But yeah, I've seen people actually be people who seem to be beginners who haven't played, that have been coming on the forum recently and actually asking about it, and obviously Pateglio was just always there with like 10 seconds to hold their hand through the entire process, which is amazing. But no, it does actually seem to be getting some traction with new players and getting some interest. So
yeah,
bring more people into the fold for when the tournaments come back. We can...
Yeah. They've done a good job with recruiting people, I think, as well, to the team who come from that perspective. Like Remy comes to mind, who is an experienced player back in the day, but is quite recently into the Ninth Age. So.
Yeah, he lives about like half an hour away from me. I was going to go play him at some point this year, but that got put paid too.
you really have to go meet up with him then next year, or this year rather. Maybe he's the guy to play some SS war games with then. I'm sure he'd be up for it.
Yeah, once we get that out of the box,
yeah,
I'll play as much Essence of War as he can handle.
One thing that really bothered me with the release of the game, they released it with 5 factions only, and I mean I have models from 5 armies, 6 armies, like not all of them are big forces, but at least some models, and there was no overlap between these. so I played the 2 games like 100% proxy, which was a bit annoying. But now they released some more factions, so that's nice. I look forward to playing it again with my real armies, what they were supposed to be. So that's nice. I think they did a good call with this way of releasing the rules, where not everything was released at once, and people had to engage with it for everything to be released. It was a risk, I think, because if releasing only half of it meant people weren't interested, then they wouldn't have get any games in at all, and it would just have been a massive flop. But that didn't happen. They did a nice job of encouraging people to try it out, and people did, I think. So that was good to see. And like
I don't like the making you have to want it. It's not for me. You're really gonna have to want it if you want to play your faction. You're gonna have to give us 7 playtesting reviews of different factions.
Yeah. That's one way of looking at it, I guess. But yeah, for me that worked. And I think like the work that Pitaglio put in with making it playable in Tabletop Simulator was really cool. Yeah, now that I think of it, I played 3 games actually, one in Tabletop Simulator with Pitaglio, so yeah, that's nice. Or actually against Rob, the world builder. I can't remember his exact name on the forums. But whatever. We shall move on to November. We're getting close to the end here.
All right.
So November, we saw an update to all of the legendary army books, but it was just an update of layout. That's plenty of work just there. So they made it possible to download. Is it 3 different versions of it? No, 6 different versions of each book. It's high res and low res, and then 3 levels of content. So you can have it without points, with points, and with rules, I think, or without rules, just the background. So I think that's neat. I mean, as I said, if you want to print a book and then the points get changed later, that sucks. If you want to avoid that, just print a book without the points.
Yeah, like I said, read it once and then put it on a shelf.
Yeah. So and apparently it's very little extra work to do it that way. They set it up in a nice way to update all of them easily. So that's good to hear. We also got a really cool announcement with the next 2 supplements book that are coming, which would be the Hobgoblins for the Infernal Dwarfs and the Monosin for the Demon Legions.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard a little bit. I've heard a little bit about what's going on with that. I know one of the guys who's dealing with the mono sin stuff.
Yeah.
He said it's like really early days, but he's a cool guy and he's got some good ideas. So if all the other guys on the team are, I don't know what they're going to do with it. Are they going to? I don't know whether they're going to actually have new units or whether it's just going to be new manifestations or something like that. But
Yeah,
be interesting to see.
the monosin one is really interesting because it feels like it's going to be such a big supplement. Because they are going to make it possible to play 7 different armies with it. So
It interests me to see which all the different unit entries apply to which gods. I mean, obviously, the greater demons.
yeah, and like at the moment, every god has one greater demon and one other unit. And I wonder if they're gonna do like some upgrade to make the other units fit in, or maybe add some more units. I could imagine like adding a generic monster thing, perhaps something that fits into every army.
There's the blazing glories pride, right?
Yeah, they're
pride.
pride, and the bloat flies are gluttony.
Beams of the lust.
The sirens or lust, I think. Yeah, and the mage blight gremlins are envy. Brass and beast are wrath.
Okay.
And the is it the like the shoot him construct thing, the hope harvester, that's sloth, I think.
Okay. The Eidolons, are they sloth as well?
No, the Eidolons I think are open for everyone.
Okay.
Everyone just has one unique unit. So whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be cool. I also really look forward to the hobgoblins, seeing what they do with that. I mentioned it previously on other shows, but I like this direction they're going in with. They changed the hobgoblins to vassals in the book to make them more generic, and then they push back the hobgoblins with a supplement to zero in on that aspect of it, because it validates having hobgoblins as vassals in your normal army, and also makes it cool to have the option to play a full hobgoblin army.
It'd be nice if it was just a generic vassal substitute. But,
yeah, I guess.
You could choose any different flavor with it.
Yeah.
I was surprised when it came up with the hobgoblin. To be fair, when I saw it, I thought hobgoblin supplement. Surely it's vassals now. But...
yeah. That's a good point. But yeah,
but hey, more content is more content.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it can be cool. So looking forward to that. Don't think it's an army I would play. If I do go into Infernal Dwarfs, it's gonna be the dwarfs that I'm in it for. I already have I already have enough goblins, so. So we'll move on to December and the end of the year, which is the Dread Elves, the only thing we haven't really talked about. So I guess we can talk about it a little bit now then.
All right, okay, yeah. What are your thoughts?
I think, I mean, if I'm being critical, I think this book has a bit of the risk that the advanced magic has. I think it's a bit too little.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's there's not that much like special, super unique about it. I know a lot of people like that aspect of it because it's not. There's a fly running around on my desk.
You don't have to cross-reference 15 different rules to find out what's going on.
I mean, it's a lot simpler book. But at the same time, I think it's good to have a design that like really grabs some people and maybe offsets some other people, rather than have a bland design that like everybody's okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. And there are some elements of the book that I really like the Blades of Dorag.
Mm.
Those are cool.
It's definitely something to look out for. It's a different mechanic
Yeah.
putting in there. I mean, it's good. It's good to be brave and try and put a unique weapon in there. That's after the bit of a flop. I don't think anyone in the Infernal Dwarfs enjoys the new infernal weapon that's just a one-handed halberd that you can't parry with. It's
Yeah,
it's pretty
maybe.
dry. Then they put in this. We've got a magical thing, and you cast spells on us, and it buffs us up, and
Yeah, and
with a separated strength AP as
I,
well. So
I hope they use that design more, actually, um, making things trigger of spells and stuff like that. I think it's a nice way to keep things in check, because that means that there's counterplay to it, which is always good.
and more is more for me. I'd have a special rule on every special rule. So if everybody had 3 different types of mundane special weapons, that'd be beautiful. One-handed halberd, no thank you. Special magical weapons, yes please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that. But yeah, having looked through it, obviously I haven't played against it. Looking through it, I feel like it might be feeding the army into an even more RPS army than it perhaps was before. You look at it all and think, got shooters and magic. Ooh, you're gonna have a good day here. You're a full combat army. Well, you're gonna go second, and all of your toys are gonna be taken off before they get to the.
Yeah, could be. Um,
Well, pretty much everything's just been made squishier and more lethal, hasn't it?
yeah.
From what I've seen.
Yeah,
But you know,
it really seems like they go full in on the glass cannon aspect of them, and
yeah.
that is a risky business for sure. I'm of course also excited to try and port the rules into skirmish. That's always a challenge when things get too powerful in the main game, but yeah, we'll see. Um, but I mean, I can't be too upset about it. I think it's a nice book. I worry a bit about it being too bland, but not too much.
It doesn't seem too bad for me. It doesn't seem too bad, but then again, I'm not a Dread-Off player. I
Yeah,
very rarely play against.
it's been really long since I played against Red Elves, actually, like a lot more than a year, I think. So it's good to
Yeah,
see.
they're really unpopular in
Yeah,
the UK. Of all the tournaments I've been to, I think I've faced them once,
yeah,
maybe twice. That's about it. Yeah. So hopefully it'll bring them a little bit more popularity.
yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like it's one of them armies that quite a few people did have, and then
Yeah,
probably put them away because of some perceived, whether rightly or wrongly, to be weak or whatever. So that
yeah.
getting a Warriors army instead, so they can win. Yeah, if they bring them back up there, get some more interest in another army on the scene. Another thing to have to think about when you list writing.
Yeah,
No, it's all good.
yeah, for sure. And it's
It's just nice. Just nice to be along.
it's I think others have said it before, but I mean it's very different from the other legendary army books. Um, like the Infernal Dwarfs, they did have shooting at least, but not this kind of shooting at all. Um, so I think it's and a lot more resilience across the army as well. So it really has the potential to shake up the meta a lot, I think, because it's so different. Yeah, we'll see. Um, and then we're pretty much up to speed. Um, that's been this year.
We made it through.
Yeah. Do you have anything that you feel that I missed?
It's pretty comprehensive, man. I don't think so. You touched on stuff that I didn't even know existed. So.
Yeah, I think I covered most
Maybe
of
give
it.
out a shout out for the Christmas exchange.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
That was really nice.
Yeah.
Did you get involved in that? You did.
I did. Omer comment on the forums. Really great initiative. Massive props to him. Did you get yours delivered yet?
Yeah. I got mine before Christmas. Mine made it to America. I think it was like Boxing Day or the day after or something. So yeah, it was nice to see that it managed to get there just before the rest of the world cut off the British post.
Yeah, that's that of course. What did you get then?
I got like I don't even know what model range. None of it was Games Workshop.
Oh, cool.
I got like a really beefy kind of weird sorcerer model. I'm not sure whether he's going to become a warrior sorcerer or whether he's going to be maybe the Kalima Deceiver for the demons. And then like some random little weird creatures that are going to become some mage blight gremlins, I think. And like a goodie bag with a couple of beers in it and some snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
And a hand painted banner. The guy is a considerably better painter than I am, and he'd gone to the trouble of hand painting a banner for me.
Nice. That's.
I mean, it's a bit special. It went out of the way. I felt like, man, I didn't push the boat out enough here.
Yeah, some people were like really generous in this. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really nice and really good to see everybody get together. Things like that brings it. No, but there's no saltiness. There's none of the crunchy rules, crying stuff. Just people being nice to each other and enjoying the hobby.
Yeah. I really liked. I think it's. I've heard about other Secret Santa stuff, and it always runs the risk of like being too vague and nobody getting anything that's even remotely useful, or like just here's a list of things I want and get me one of these. Otherwise, you're mean.
Yeah.
And then you could just bite yourself. It serves no purpose. But this one you just put in. I play these armies, and then you got something for these armies probably, and that was really nice. So it was kept on a good level, I think. Hoping to see something like that next year for sure, and hoping to get some more participants. I think we're like 20 something.
I might see if I can set one up for every month, so it doesn't feel like you're buying yourself so many presents. Always got like random packages coming in the mail.
That would be neat.
Bears of the world and models of the world arriving every month on your doorstep.
Yeah, that's that would be interesting for sure. Okay then, looking forward to that. But I guess we should wrap this up then.
Yeah, man.
How has your painting been going?
Pretty well, actually. I'm just agraxing all the brown and the metal bits, and pretty much nearly finished these. This dude and this other dude. 2 more guys for the chosen unit.
Nice.
You?
Yeah, she's coming along. Yeah, mostly has been working on the flame all evening. You can see her here. But I also worked out on the skin and the face a bit. So still have the clothes to do. But I'm really happy with this model. I did some touch-ups to the face with some green stuff, and I'm really happy that I did. I think she's gonna come out looking really nice.
I don't doubt it.
Well, thank you for the confidence. um, so yeah, happy with this one. I'm gonna take some pictures and put them up at the end. As always, I forget to mention this when talking about miniatures in the first place, but the audience out there listening, if you've been painting while listening to this, please let us know what you've been working on. Always nice to see. And I guess that's it for this one. Thank you, Wasteland Warrior, for coming on. It's been great having you. And goodbye to 2020 once and for all, and all that comes with it, hopefully. And thank you to the audience for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.
Yes.